Hello, everyone. I'm Danny,
I'm Sebastian.
and this is Underwritten. Thank you for listening.
Man, when are we overwriting?
I've thought about that, and I'm like, what does overwriting even mean, bro?
That means when you overwrite a save,
You're
you're replacing the old with the new, bruh.
Dang, what are we replacing? Are we never gonna be replaced? Is that underwriting? Can we never be replaced because we're underwritten?
Think about that.
He died. That's what happened. There was just silence on my end.
Oh, for real? My bad.
Yeah.
I have a one-line comeback and everything, but I can't use it because obviously, I definitely didn't make that part up, But we have things to talk about. We have more important things.
Yeah. I think it's cool if we not necessarily give updates, because I don't want to give away what our projects are if we get to a point where people are actually able to enjoy them separately. But I think just updates on where our headspace is right now according to our projects. I have some thoughts, but I'd like to hear you first, Seb, if you don't mind.
On my own personal project or yours?
You're the project, the one on your end, where you're at in any sense, really.
I guess right now I'm in the headspace of where I'm getting ready to schedule stuff out, since it's sort of like a D&D type deal. I'm trying to get an idea of everybody's schedule, or at least I'm starting to reach out for everybody's schedule that I don't know already.
Yeah.
So it's just more so okay, we're ready, but can we all match our schedules together?
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, you're a lot closer to being... I don't want to say done, because I feel like this project has a bunch of stages for you, but to the point where other people than you can enjoy it. Yeah. I, for the first time in I don't want to say a long time, I outsourced for my ideas. I talked to someone else about character plots.
Well, you hired an AI chatbot.
No. Okay. Actually, that's a really good segue into
AI chatbot.
That's a really good segue point. If anyone that's listening right now has a story they'd like to upload, there is a AI company that I adore called Real Good AI that is hosting a competition for an episode. It's not a competition, but it's having story submissions for an episode of Distractable, which is a podcast by Markiplier, Bob and Wade. And they are hosting submissions right now for, I believe she's was talking about how the actual modern problems that AI has right now. She's comparing it to how most science fiction is, AI is robot, AI has emotions, AI falls in love with a human, AI is good. It doesn't actually correlate to what's happening right now with AI, and everyone is hosting they're hosting submissions for that right now. So if you have a story, if you're listening to this podcast and you're also a writer, go to realgoodai.com/scary story. Hold on, let me look it up. 1 second. But their mission is actually I don't know if you've looked into them at all, Seb, but their mission is to use AI in a way that doesn't take away from creative talents. So it kind of captivated me because she was talking about how writers are kind of sick, and I feel like it can be a cool tool sometimes, but at the same time it just takes the ever living soul out of your writing if you use AI for writing. And that's what kind of got me, because she was talking about if you're a writer, you don't really like AI because you can literally just type a prompt and it does what you spent months doing in 4 seconds. So it's a really cool tool for helping if you need grammar correction, or if you need this idea, whatever. AI is really cool for that, but I hate using it for writing. I never enjoyed it just because it doesn't. It's the creativity is not there anymore. It's not yours. We did have prompts for today. I'm sorry for taking us on such a detour. we're
It is
gonna
what
talk
it
about
is.
some subjects that I'm just stalling because I closed out of the tab by accident. Oh my god,
About
I'm
to
a
say, like, all
grandma.
right, man.
I had like 50 tabs open on my phone.
Ooh,
Um, we were talking about a
yikes, bro.
very I don't want to well yeah, sure. I guess it's kind of like a home close hitting like idea. Um, why creative projects die? We're gonna be
Mm,
discussing some other things. But yeah, why they die? What is? I feel like out of everyone, you've had well. I'm sure you've had moments where that you don't really talk about where you've had that feeling happen. Um,
yeah.
but in all of the points that we have to talk about, like what have you felt the most when it comes to that? Because I know I always feel burnout when it comes to a project because I feel like I don't want to like continue working on something when it starts creating a stress for me. Um,
Hmm.
I don't because it takes the creative. What word am I looking for? The the creative, I guess, aspect, like the fun of using your world building abilities to do something unique. Like it takes the fun out of that when you start stressing about like a deadline or like something you. And granted,
Hmm.
it's good to set those, but it's I don't know. How have you what would have been your like personal feelings with that?
Well, to start off with the beginning on, I guess, burnout. Um, Sometimes you just knee deep in a project and it just hits you. And
Mm,
I don't know. For me personally, it's always been just like, okay, well, um, I can't work on it right now. I don't know why. I'm just feeling like this, so I'm gonna go do something else. Even though it's something like I really want to do, sometimes you just got to go do something else. That that's all I've got specifically on that. But I guess again, for dealing with it would just be like shifting to something else I like to do, or maybe shifting to another part of that project that I haven't put any work into that is different enough that it, doesn't feel like I'm working on the same thing, therefore triggering the burnout.
that's something I feel like a lot of people don't bring out because it's so easy to be caught up in like one part of a project and it kind of just keeps you in a chokehold. Like you're like, oh, I need to finish this because without this I can. But it's your project. You don't have to do that. Like it's you can move into different aspects of it, and especially when, I mean, I think your project has a little bit more freedom than mine because you
Hmm.
you have the ability to work with you don't have to just stick to the story. You can also work on like a mechanic, on this, on that, and it's a little bit easier to go around that for anyone that's listening for writings. I think my personal biggest way to deal with burnout is doing what Seb said. Like you have to move around and do something that is not ironically the writing aspect of it. My favorite way to cope with that is to I am a big nerd. So I carry a little journal around with me everywhere I go now. And
Mm.
I like to make timelines to catch up like where I'm at. Not necessarily like how much work I have to do, but like story wise, like, oh, this is where this character is at mentally. Let's do this to add to this. Or like I'll connect points. Like I'll have a character have a reason for doing something. And then there's all these other points that lead into how it affects other points in the story. Like it's it's so easy to get caught up on just continuing that it's kind of hard. You kind of put blinders on yourself and you can't see that you can do all these other things like to the story.
That's true. I don't have anything to add on to that, but that's very true.
um I think the second
So do we
point,
move?
yeah, is something that I like. This perfectionism is a big thing that I dealt with, and I think it's something I'm still like kind of coping. I don't know. I know you've seen it in me, Seb, because I've revised this
Mhm.
project how many times? Like,
Hey, bro, just drop it, bro.
just drop it. I'm
Just,
like
just,
4
just
pages of
drop it
edited
live,
in.
bro. Just
Guys,
drop it live,
here's the
bro. You know
PDF.
what?
Go read
You know
it.
what? Instead, turn it into a choose your own adventure story, bruh. Have the
Oh
audience write it themselves,
Lord.
steal the best ideas from the chat. Easy solution.
Oh Lord, that sounds
Bi-weekly.
that would be kind of cool, and that's almost like what I went for. I think you remember that, like when it was gonna be an audiobook technically, where I had actual readers like go and like read like specific lines and things like that. Didn't turn out to do that because obviously it's not out, but
No, we're still here. Thinking
we're
about
still
it,
here.
not looking at it.
Oh God. But yeah,
I wonder what's gonna happen.
perfectionism is a that's a big one. I don't know. Have you?
Have I perfectionism? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things I have. I mean, with what I'm working on, for an example, it was really kind of frustrating when I had worked on this specific plugin with a specific mechanic with one person because I outsourced and I had somebody work on it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically like a couple of months passed and then Minecraft made it a default feature, but slightly worse. And so it was sort of like an internal back and forth. Like, do I want to waste time just bringing it up to this or improving this? Or I don't know. It was almost like where I wanted it to be better because I saw how I could combine the two, but it was sort of like a paralysis where, okay, well, I could do that, but is it really going to be that necessary, or would it just be funnier just to leave it like this? That's basically how I get out of every sticky situation. Would it be funny to do this? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah. That I can cut it out. What I think these other 2 points kind of just cover the same presence of what we've been talking about. I think overscoping is kind of just like going back into the perfectionism part of it, because when you start over analyzing like how your story should go, you kind of are being a perfectionist.
Oh no, this is literally me. I low-key had to Google it, but this was literally my idea. This is literally what has challenged me the most in my project. I have overscoped so hard. I have dropped 3 separate deadlines on three separate years. That's how bad we've overscoped. Dude, if we compare to what I have right now to what I was planning on November 17th, 2023 or 2022, completely like out of the ballpark, bro.
Can we cut in right here and like I'm gonna put when the last episode of 464 Infinity came out, just so we could.
Just so you know, it was supposed to. The next one was supposed to come out like within 6 months.
Yeah, like 6 months.
Not supposed to be that long.
You said 6 months to a year, no?
Yeah, basically. And then I was like, oh wait, brilliant idea. Let's drop an exact date. Yeah. Horrible idea.
That was
horrible idea.
That was rough.
I still get DMs about that to this day. So what happened November 7th? I forget what day it was.
That's November 11th, crazy. They're like, you're like Jay Schlatt at 9/11, bro. Like this is.
Okay, well, hang on. I don't think he did that. I don't. It's plausible, but I don't think he had a hand in that event.
Or
but
like
maybe,
what happened in 1999.
Let's Google that.
Oh.
Let's find out right now. Google has got us, bro. AI generate that.
Oh no, he's going into the trap. Oh
yeah,
no, 464 AI edition.
We're gonna make this up as we speak, bro.
It's gonna be like Will Smith eating
the spaghetti. Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary how good that's gotten.
Oh yeah, I saw a video comparing that with modern AI, bro.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is cooked, bro. All anime is low-key in a dangerous spot.
Yeah. I kind of hate that. I feel like that's why I guess let's go on to our second point.
Oh snap.
This is actually what? Oh, no,
we did
second block. Second block.
Oh, we're skipping the fourth one?
Yeah, I feel like unless you want to talk about it, cuz I feel I guess
okay. Well, here, I have something to say. I think the original idea of 464 has somewhat been lost because the original idea was based on the original people that were there. Sure, there were people who like hopped in like once or twice for like a cameo, but then that was it. There was always the definitive 464 squad. And like over time it did grow, but it has not grown in years. We have shrunk. Our minds are shrinking. Our brains are shrinking right now.
Our brains are shrinking.
And
The
so,
water's turning
in a
the frogs
way,
gay.
it's over, bruh. In a way, I think my project lost its original spark, but it has essentially been the light bulb's been replaced, bruh. We went from 2003 fluorescent lights, dingy nurse's office to like, I don't know, aesthetic room, aesthetic room at like the golden hour.
You went
I don't know. It's
from
just different.
millennial like house remodel to cozy cabin core.
Kinda, yeah, pretty much.
That
But
is
then, like,
kind
half
of
the cabin is like on fire, but it's like that Roblox like blue fire where it's like that really tacky blue and then red. I don't know if it's ice and fire, but you know exactly.
I
You know what
know
I'm talking
exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of making me mad. I can't.
It's
But
like
I
that, bruh.
envision it perfectly. Oh
You get
my
it.
god.
You get it.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, because if we go back to like what betrayal really was, it's nowhere
Yeah, bro.
close.
Well, exactly.
It's like
But
nowhere
what
close
does the
to what it
term
was.
original spark actually mean? Hang on, let me Google this.
I think it's like the original creative inspiration to
I
do
got
something.
the hot sauce, bro. You want some original spark? Hey, you could buy this.
This is sponsored
How
by
much does it
Original
cost?
Spark. No, it's not. Is this a spark plug?
$8.50. Oh, wait, but you got to pay for it and buy it online. What's the shipping like? Let's see. Hang on.
Got
Holy
it. Original
schmoly.
Spark, if you'll
Holy
sponsor
schmoly,
us.
the shipping costs more than the actual product. Oh, wait. Okay, only standard. Hey, I could do installments. Oh, never mind. It's not enough to do an installment.
Installments of $59.59.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the actual definition of original spark, original recipe. Definition. Hang on, because I keep getting the hot sauce. It means, okay, AI. I don't want to know that, bro. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Google doesn't know me anymore.
Dang.
It's not giving me what
Are
I
you
want.
having a falling out with Google right now?
I think so. I think we're going to move to Brave browser for no specific reason.
Everyone, this episode is sponsored by Opera GX.
Holy
It's not.
schmoly,
It's
wrong
not.
one.
If you want to, though. If you want to.
If you want to. Ooh,
If
snap.
you want to. Commercial email in the description.
Ooh, think about that. Yeah, I'm not getting it's anyway. I'm just gonna do what I think, and what I think is that it means the original spark was what originally caused you to want to do that original feeling, that
Mhm.
original idea, and that idea can obviously change over time, but whether or not you really want that original spark to remain in it, that's up to you. And whether or not it actually should stay into it is also up to you. I mean, could you imagine if Mario like stayed the same and he never got anything different like over the period of time? Would you say that he's lost the original 2D spark when you venture into a 3D game? Not that like it's a bad thing that he went to 3D or any video game went to 3D, but by giving us that second dimension to mess around, or the third dimension really to mess around with, now you've kind of sacrificed a little bit of what it used to be. Because Super Mario 64 is so different from the original New Super Mario Bros. They are night and day, totally different experience.
Yep.
But there's elements that you can find from 64 in whatchamacallit, the original. So I mean, I don't know.
How do we even know that's our same Mario?
Yeah. How about you McDonald's order him, bro? Like that CEO who couldn't even stomach his own burger, bro.
Oh my god, that was so bad. Bro took like the Squidward bite, like whenever he went to go in.
Except he didn't like it, bro. He did not get fat off his burger.
I'm eating the Archie. What is it called? What is it called? Yeah.
The Archburger, I think.
Archburger. Yeah, that boy was that's some great marketing. Some great marketing. I hope Burger King and McDonald's start beef
You
again.
know what? It reminded me that McDonald's exists. If that's what he was going for, excellent job.
I hope this starts. I don't know if you remember, but back like forever ago, McDonald's and Burger King had beef, where like they would
they actually use real meat for their food, bro. No way.
Their ads were like jabbing at each other. I remember there was one that I saw that was like it was a McDonald's ad and there was a Burger King ad straight after one another, and McDonald's was like, "Oh, there's more McDonald's around the whole United States of America than there are Burger Kings." And then the Burger King ad starts with a couple stopping at a McDonald's just to get a coffee to drive farther to a Burger King because their burgers are better.
Dang,
that was top tier. That was top tier.
That was. I don't know. Jack in the Box did some crazy stuff back in the day. That's all I'll say on
Jack
that.
in the Box just be throwing hands with anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god. Anyways,
okay, should we move back into the next questions?
Yeah, cutting into our second block. I'd like you to introduce this, Seb. I'm so nervous to know like how audio editing is gonna be whenever we're in person for this, because it's gonna be like I'm gonna see the peak of your dynamics just like going all crazy.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Anyway, so topic is world building. World building is that's when you build a world, bruh. That's when the bricks come together and the no. Let me finish. Oh. That's when the bricks come together and then the two other piggies they get their worlds get blown away and then they go live in your world and then the wolf jumps down the chimney and you get wolf soup.
I feel like Biggie rapped about this.
Ooh, think about that environmental storytelling. Anyway, so main question here: when world building becomes a procrastination, how do you realize it?
Oh,
I'll give a hint. I got you. So
I didn't realize this was a quiz.
So here's how I kind of realized.
I was about to say, yeah. Hold on, you're like the king. You were the king of this for so long.
Here's how I realized when at my job sometimes I get a little bored. Rather than actually like thinking up like actual story beats or concepts for mechanics or stuff like that. I have a bunch of books on lore about the world that we might not even get to explore, bruh. I'm talking like love letters to the king. We got the kings talking to each other. We got all sorts of just random bits of lore that you might not even find. Somebody might not even explore this cave. They might look inside and be like, I'm trying to hop off for tonight. Y'all trying to hop on Warframe? Let's hop on Warframe, guys. Session, no meal.
Your audio just cut out and you sounded like Obama.
That works. But anyway, so I've kind of taken a step back and kind of realized, you know what? If this doesn't get seen, that's okay. We don't even have to give it that much a thought. It doesn't have to be super well thought of or super well like endowed with a billion little details. Cause I'm like, shoot, bro, what if nobody even finds it?
Yeah. I don't think I'm
realizing when it's like, dang, this is too much, bro. I don't even want to read this when I find it.
Trap, like, so I feel like you got that more
because you have a more linear story, you know?
Yeah, because I have to write the world. I have to build the world in a way. And this is why this is actually going back to this is why I kind of outsourced, because I wanted to make sure that the way I was writing was made for the setting that I wanted it to be. Because at first it was just kind of like, oh, when is this set? Like when right. But like now with and I'm glad I outsourced because it helped me kind of correct what I was doing. That is just like, oh yeah, this is during this time period in a place like this. Because like that world building is kind of difficult, especially when it comes to what I want to convey out there as to like what's, because you can be reading my the novel and you're gonna be like, oh, this is set in like 2138 in like Futurama. Like it's hard to procrastinate on world building for that, because it's like I have to do it with the characters. Everything has to kind of progress at the same time if I want to continue world building.
Okay.
Um, I guess the next point is just kind of like us. It's comparing, like it's your world building versus mine. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, you can literally build your worlds for interactive purposes. Mine is just kind of like words you got to use your little imagination for.
Right.
Um, what I other than differences, what do you think is like the biggest similarity between ours?
Um, I think when it comes to, you and I actually had a really interesting conversation IRL that I kind of think relates to this. And in my simplest terms, an ARG is where I can give you a really well thought out world with all sorts of twists and turns, like billions of little pathways you can take, or you could just take everything at face value and just go straight versus you know everything in that story is going to have an explanation eventually with the ARG because there's so many little paths, so many little things you can do that everything needs to be explained.
Yeah,
Versus with your storytelling, you're going to tell a straight story, and irregardless, the audience has no influence on it. So that means the audience has more leeway to come up with their own ideas on the story. And I know we talked about this when we both, I mean, eventually, like, I think you saw Iron Lung first and then I saw it. But because
mm,
of how Iron Lung, I mean, like the actual movie is like a linear story where the audience has no real input, that allows for the writer or director in this case to essentially give their interpretation on the story and how things should have gone and how things went and blah, 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 blah. And then whether or not they do explain certain things, and the less they explain, the more interesting it is for the audience,
yeah.
or less it
I've
gives more leeway for the audience to think about.
I found out that a lot of people really hate that. Like they don't like the exploration of your own ideas with like the open-endedness. But I think that's such a fascinating idea because like I was talking
Yes,
about this
people
with
don't like to think.
I was talking about this with someone else. Um and and we were just kind of talking about like how cool it is to have a story where you can make your own interpretations of things in like any like when it comes to how a character looks, what they sound like, what like it can be such small things like that. And like going back to Iron Lung, you have to do that because there's only one set. Like that set is happening the whole time, and you can only imagine what the character's thinking, what is around you, because it is all sound related. Like we get glimpses of it like through the pictures that Simon takes, and like that's all you get. Everything else is like sound related and dialogue related, but you get to make your own conclusion of what happened, like how it happened. And when it comes to like the writing aspect of that, it's really cool because if you narrow it down, like if you narrow something down so hard, um it takes away that liberty that you're able to just like imagine what this characters look like. That kind of leads me to a point that I was thinking about recently, that I've taken descriptions of my characters out because I did a test, like kind of like an A and B test, and I had someone read one with description and then one without, and they kind of like very accurately described what they thought the person looked like and acted like without the descriptions that I had provided in the original piece,
Okay, okay.
which is like so cool when you're able to do that for writing, because not only does that take a little bit of the workout of like having to describe everything, it also allows the reader for more interpretation down the road.
That's true. I could see that. Let's
Um
see. I don't have anything else to add here.
yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Oh,
This is a
but that moves on to the next like
yeah,
topic really, really well though.
yeah. This kind of this is harder for you because like you were talking about, and like how you were talking about last episode, you have to do like you have to plan a route for everything. What details actually matter?
Yeah, that took forever to figure out. Um, I eventually just kind of settled on really large events that happen and it only really works because of the setting that is going to happen, or at least the fact that it's like an open world type deal that like, oh wow, giant explosion in the distance, we should probably check that out within a day or two. And so with giant, like not necessarily world creeping, but environmentally shifting events that happen that lead into another, it just naturally pushes people to want to go and explore and be like, oh, what happened? Why did this happen? Why is this happening? Why is it everywhere? You know, all these questions that naturally just lead you to want to investigate, since it's, you know, a video game and not real life.
Yeah.
That's how I had to just like, okay, well, now that we know we're pushing people in that direction, I can put stuff there.
Yeah. I can't imagine like how much you had to think about, and like how much you're like, oh, I should probably put the, because and then again, this kind of goes back to our last episode as well. This is like the yellow lines like thing where you want to make something very obvious, but at the same time you don't.
You don't want to force people to do it, but you just look over here, look over here. I'm jingling some keys. I don't have my keys on me. Oh wait, here they are.
You can't hear them at all. That was hilarious.
Darn. Put it in a cheese jingling. I mean, a keys jingling.
Cheese jingling, bro? Guys, this is cheese jingling. Cheese. Play it right now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that sounds like it.
I kind of saw like how evident this was in Markiplier was playing Resident Evil 9, and there's a clip in one of the cutscenes where the character goes and walks in, and there's a zoom in to this girl. Actually, hold on. This is big spoilers for Resident Evil 9 if you haven't, or Resident Evil Requiem. If you haven't seen it, skip forward to whatever timestamp I just put up. But
this is an audio clip. How's that gonna? You're just gonna have to guess.
Yeah, you're gonna have to guess, guys. Let me skip to the end of the episode. Well, I feel like that kind of just like proves our point, though. The whole yellow lines thing. Dang. No, but there's a clip where she goes into this room, this kind of locked room that you unlock, and it zooms into the girl's eyes, and she's obviously blind. And then you see her, she like the character starts walking up into the room, and you can see the little girl, and she's reading Braille. And then she taps, because she's encased by glass, so she taps the glass, and the little girl's like freaked out, and she's like, "I can't see you." And then the character goes, "Oh, she's blind." Like it's
okay. Look, it makes sense for the. I assume. I think it would make sense for the character to make that assumption, because I assume it's like a stressful environment. But yeah, I think the audience got it, bro.
I think we got it, guys. Like I think there's a
maybe put like some text on the screen saying she's blind.
She's blind. It's just like giant red flashing. She's blind. Like
put 3 exclamation points and then an underline, and then like have it permanently there by your health bar for the rest of the game.
Every time you interact with the character, it just reminds you with the giant red flashing text that says she's blind.
Either she's blind or he's not blind or whatever. She's the only blind character in the game.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I thought that was just like kind of fun, because you have to think about those details, because people are gonna like not do what you want them to if you don't kind of make it obvious. That kind of like allows me to have leeway though when it comes like I was just talking about this. Like it's kind of cool when you're able to write in a way that makes a character, or not a character, a reader, think that they're in whatever scenario. Like I'll go ahead and say it because it's not like a big secret, but Betrayal is set in like a 60s noir kind of like era. And writing that was really hard, because like I don't like to make it obvious. Like in my original writing, I don't know if you remember, but I was very descriptive on the type of cars, on the type of guns, on like these things that they used to let you understand the era of it. But if you go into it reading like and thinking, oh, this is set like in the 60s, this is a noir type of like writing, but there's never a flat out saying that, oh, you know, he picked up his, or like, you know, like this big event happened, or like there's this happened. Like it's without that explicit like description of telling it, if you're able to do that, that's really freaking cool, because that means you're able to write in a way that already makes the person think about where they're at, when they're at, especially. And
Mhm.
when it comes to those details, I think it's overthought of, like how world building is set, because a lot of times writers, and like I might get hate for this, but like writers really just write to fill in more pages. Like there's details, there's things that are not necessary in order to benefit the story. And if that means that Betrayal's going to end up being a lot shorter than it needs to, so be it. Like that, it's, or shorter than a normal book at least. Like, so be it. It's, the story is what needs to get across, not how good you are at describing what texture a building is. Like it's, that point kind of just like gets to me, because you know there are some books where you're reading and you're like, why, like why did I, like, it doesn't benefit the story in any sense, in any way. Why did I have to know like what that character's, you know, favorite candy from Walmart was? Like it's those details are there in so many books, but it's so unnecessary. And I understand it's difficult because you need to like fill, I don't know, quota, I guess, of how many pages your book should be, but it's also easy, not easy, but it's also cool when you don't have to do that. I just went on a huge tangent about that. That actually pisses me off. Let me get a water break.
Counter argument. I think this kind of writing works really well when you're building suspense or you're trying to overwhelm somebody who's looking for a lot of details in like a scary story. Like when you give so many what you call it, like red herrings. Oh, the tall man who's been following you for 3 days. His car is a red Chevrolet from 1989. The one of the wheels is a replacement wheel, or what do you call it? Like a replacement wheel, you know. Extra
I
wheel
guess
breath.
it is a more like unique way of doing that. I think what like
Just
my
giving-
point is like meant to go for is like how like the actual like atmosphere that you're feeling, not like the details of it can matter. The examples that I meant, like I used, are kind of just like pointless ones. But yeah, no, I can totally see where you're coming from when it comes to like throwing someone off, or just like, you know, saying something that has nothing to do with the story intentionally to deter someone from like understanding what the meaning is.
Boom shakalaka, boom boom shakalaka. All right, what's next?
I actually kind of wanted to stay on that just for a second, because it's
Oh,
we are supposed to like be giving advice. So I wanted to
That's
expand on that
right,
a little
bro.
bit. Our
Okay.
tagline is advice from amateurs, so we should probably do a little bit of that.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right, our one piece of advice.
I think that when you're writing, and when you're especially world building, you can't think of it as a writer. You have to think of it as someone who is in the story, and you have to build based off of what they feel. Because if you write this like based on senses and not based off of the almost emotion and sensation of like presence, you're just gonna describe, you know, you're gonna do nothing more than be an atlas. Like you're gonna describe no, that's not what I'm looking for. Is it atlas what I'm looking for? Is that one of those like little pamphlets where you can go like when you travel?
No, that's travel guide, bro.
Shoot, what is an atlas?
An atlas is like a book of places.
Yeah, okay. I was right. I was right. That's what I was thinking of. Like you're gonna be nothing more than an atlas describing a place and like a setting. Like you're not gonna do more than that. When you're writing, you have to think about it as a character in your story, so that readers can also feel like a character in that story, even if you're not writing in a first person point of view.
Okay.
Any advice from your point? I feel like a lot of D&D writers are going to be interested in your points, like DMs at least.
the sad part is when you are doing something like that is that it's usually best to over prepare in case somebody is like, I'm gonna spam inspect 5 times. You better give me like 5 times worth of that. And then they keep spam rolling natural 20s, and it's like, well, dang, bro, the bricks in the wall, they were made by a stonemason 10 years ago, and he died of ligma, bro. And it's like, well, yeah, I made that up on the fly, but now that's part of the permanent lore, bruh, because I didn't prepare that in advance, and that might screw you over. Or you could use it later on, like, oh, you remember that? You remember that guy who died of ligma when he made the bricks? Yeah, he's actually he's actually back to life again because he figured out how to time travel after dying. He just had to wait 10 years.
Yeah, I guess world building for your side of it is a lot more complicated.
Kind of. It's just more so like notes that I have on the side, like an actual DM. Is that like, oh, well, I mean, if you figure this out, then I have information to give you. But if you don't figure it out, then it's not going to get used.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have any other more points to talk about there. I guess this brings us to our last chunk. Creating characters that feel real. This is I feel like there's a little bit more on me, but I'm sure
Okay.
I'll let you open up with this one. I've kept letting you open up, but I'll let you open up with this one.
I don't know how, but the tale of Sam Strings is a tale as old as time.
Okay, you were
summarized
version. Go ahead.
Summarized version is 2 years. I was an alt account on a Minecraft server, and nobody figured out exactly who I was with definitive proof. Even though there was that one time I accidentally called somebody at Subway while I was fixing an order, and I somehow convinced those 2 people that I had taken over that guy's account to answer for him because he was asleep. So for 2 years, everybody in the friend group, which I think at that time was between 7 and like 15 people, were throwing fingers at each other saying, "You're Sam Strings. No, you're Sam String." And I had to stop it at the point where I was eventually going to hire a private investigator to get pictures of somebody to drop in the Discord.
That's
and leave
insane.
with it
You had
saying,
plans
"Hey,
to do
that's
that?
me." I got a quote and everything. It was gonna cost like $60, and I was like, "Okay, well, hang on. This might be a breach of the friendship, bro." And then I was like, "Okay, you know what? It's been 2 years. Let's let it go."
Someone was gonna freak the frick out, like if they had pictures.
It was gonna
of
be
them.
you.
It was gonna be me.
It was gonna be you. We've talked about this.
You've never brought this up.
I've brought this up so many times.
You have never brought this up. This is the first time I have heard you were gonna hire. Oh my god!
It's because I thought it would be. Oh my goodness! Why did you do this? Like, this would be a breach of privacy. Because I was gonna just hire him to take pictures of you, or like try to get selfie style pictures with you, and be like, "Hey guys, I just met with some spammer. I'm handing off the account to him. He's Sam Strings now." Or something. I don't know. It depends on the pictures he was gonna give me. But I got a good quote, man. He was gonna do it within a week too, and I was like, "Oh man,
God.
Let me think about this." It was within budget, bro.
This is the first time I've heard about this. This is genuinely the first time I've heard about this.
I told you about this.
I remember you telling me you were gonna frame me, but I don't remember ever you telling me that you were gonna hire a private investigator to go and.
How else do you think I was gonna get pictures of you? At that time, I didn't.
I don't know.
I'm gonna Uber over to your house, wait for you to come outside, take a picture, take the Uber out. Thank goodness he waited for me, and then go home.
My God. I think that is a very good example of an unlikable character.
There you go. For the explanation. Well, okay, only you were the only person who didn't like him, because I specifically wanted to target you because during that server's time, you were like the quote big bad. All you did was spam homework, bro. Your excuse for not hopping on was I gotta go do some homework, bro. I gotta do this. I think bro hopped on a total of 3 times, and Okay, well let's go through quickly through some of Samstring's feats. We tricked you, by we I mean me, because it was me. You got tricked into thinking while I was hacking it was just an exploit, because I also sent you a video of it. I think it legitimately was an exploit, just not for the version we were playing for with the flying boat.
I remember
Um,
just being so confused at that. I was
I
so
think
mad.
I think it was funniest when I just showed up to Isaac and I like gave him like a golden apple and just flew away, and that was it. No destruction, no words were exchanged. It was I have a gift for you. Goodbye. And then I think I was peaceful, or at least relatively peaceful, to everybody who wasn't a part of your faction. I like gave stuff to Jonah. I was decent to. No, I was mad at Blake, bro. I was like, okay, I'm tired of this guy. We got to get. I was the first genuine op of Blake, and then oh, that's right. We had to come up with the rule system for it. So because everybody was so aggravated about, oh, this guy, he gets to play, nobody knows who he is, kick him off the server. I had to come up with a fair trial, I guess. It was like, okay, if he dies 3 times and you guys record proof of it, I'll kick him out of the server. And everybody was like, all right, that's fair.
That
So then
put
it was
such
like
a big
a
target on your
unspoken,
back.
it was unspoken bounty. Oh, let's not even forget about the part where I had to have Baritone moving him across the map automatically while I was active on the server. So I'd be like looking back and forth between my computers like a FNAF camera. Oh man! And then the finale, which low key, I have no clue how this. I don't know if I'm gonna ever use it or not. But essentially, how it ended, right? Because Samstrings died in the Nether with Blake. There was a temporary truce, and then I think either he pushed me off or I fell off, and I was like begging him, please, please don't tell anybody. First thing in the morning, our time, because he's in the UK. First thing in the morning, our time. He sends the screenshot, and I was like, oh well, there he goes.
Everyone
And
went
so
wild. I remember that.
it was crazy. Everybody was hype about it. Next, right? So Samstrings had developed a group of allies called the Paradise Pal. And the Paradise Pal, I forget exactly who was there, but I know Jacob, Joseph, and somebody else was in there. They got a resource that I made up called the Wish Lapis, which lets you make a wish and it comes true if you have enough. And so they gathered enough Wish Lapis to give Samstrings one more life. And then he comes back to life. And then I forget, I think I just gave him Elytra's.
Yeah.
And he's like, come, we must go to my home. And then they fly up into the ether because I had installed that the day prior. And yeah, apparently I accidentally flew, because I think I lagged. I accidentally flew into like the bottom of a floating island and I died. And then that was GG's, bro, because then the server ended like a week later.
A week later, yeah.
And that was the Legend of Samstrings. Oh yeah, and after that he would show up on servers. Yeah, just for like
Just
the next 2
'cause.
years. He's like just a guest, just a weekly guest appearance, weekly villain, bro. He wouldn't even do stuff sometimes. He would just sign on, say hello, and leave.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember especially when you would do like the escape rooms on Minecraft that you'd just be in there randomly.
Oh yes. Hopefully, you know what? I gotta get somebody to help me with that. I might get AJ with that because we were cooking one and then it was on Bedrock, so we lost it.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, your turn.
I when it comes to writing like I turn into XQC.
A little bit.
When it comes to writing like unlikable characters, it's so hard not to get stuck in the cliche of like I think there are like 3 main archetypes that I think of, like the just absolute like chaotic evil, and then like the kind of like, imagine like a fat rat, like nobody likes him, he's just like greasy, like that's a kind of character that I think of in like that negative sense. And then just like a genuine like a sinister evil, like kind of, no, well, I mean, because that's already the chaotic evil. I like like a Joker kind of feel. Like that kind of, I feel like those three are the biggest like character archetypes that people will follow in when writing an like a antagonist, because it's, or even just like an unlikable character, because if you think of someone unlikable, like you think of someone that you have to from the start have distrust in to some point. And I think the not easiest, but I like, it's personally been my easiest way of writing into it, is you don't want the reader to dislike them. You want the character that they're antagonizing to dislike them immediately. So if you like the character that they're antagonizing, yeah, that person's going to be like a negative towards you. But if you like don't care like what this character that you've just been introduced to thinks about this negative person, it might not, mix in with you as well as, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Remind me, what were the three types of villains you said? Because I think I have a point to make there.
Because I'm,
and then I'll
the
circle
three
back to
villains
what you
are
just
like
said.
the chaotic evil, like in between like the chaotic good, neutral, and evil. Like the chaotic evil, just like a fat greaseball rat that like nobody like. What my mind automatically thinks about is like an alcoholic dad who beats his kids. Like that's what my mind thinks of as that way. And then just like a laughable like villain, like a Joker kind of feel.
Okay, so based on my own research on writing, there are, I think, three really popular negative like character arcs it can be. There's the just straight up, as you said, like chaotic evil, like not goofily, but like so obviously evil. My taxes. And then there's the just the flat, like that will be like a flat character arc, just evil to be evil. He's not going to change. He can't really get much worse. He's just going to be that same evil.
Yeah.
And then there's the positive to negative. So they start off as like a good character. Oh yeah, I like doing my taxes and this, that, and the other. And then tax season comes around, and guess what happens? Ooh, you gotta pay 800 in back taxes. Make it pronto. You did your taxes late. You got a week to do this. And all of a sudden they're like, maybe I should open an offshore account in Scandinavia. Well, that way I don't have to tail with taxes for my bit. You know what I mean? And then they start being cartoonishly more and more evil and blah, 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 blah. And then the third one, let me look it up really quickly, because I think I'm going to get it wrong if I say it off the dome. So we said the negative one. We said the one where he doesn't change. And then there's, I guess, technically that's a positive one, bruh. That's the hero's journey. Let me look it up. The three. So I remember reading about it, but I low-key might have did the silly forgotten, bruh.
I feel like we talked about it before.
We have, for sure. I haven't heard of this, but I can guess I can picture it. It's essentially called disillusionment. The three, they have an official name. So says the AI overview. Disillusionment, the fall, and the corruption. The fall is just like, I was doing good, now I'm doing bad. Mm-hmm. Corruption is, I was always evil. But disillusionment, this ties into a bit more of a specific writing thing. The character believes a lie and overcomes it to find the truth, but finds out the truth is tragic. The truth being like the big character change. Like,
that's like the Interstellar feel. That's like after he goes and like doesn't believe. Okay, I understand what that. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. You know what I mean. And so those were like the three positive, and then I guess for the three it has here. I only know the one. Anakin Skywalker. He starts. He gets driven from a good person to bad guy. Yeah. We have the Godfather, Michael Corleone. He wanted to stay out of his family's business, but then he slowly gets into it. And then The Shining, Jack Torrance starts as a regular man with existing flaws. Comes into, I don't know nothing about that, so I'm just gonna shut up and let you talk. Go for it.
Yeah, I just think that like well, because if the negative character means something to the story, I think it is worth it to like go into one of those archetypes, because it is because you can make it so much more complex than just like he fell from the light side to the dark. He did, like, you can make it emotionally driven, but I think when it comes to just like an unlikable character, you can't make it from your own point of view. You have to do it from the point of view of the character that you're trying to like antagonize, or you're trying to like if you make a character have a passive aggressive comment towards another character, this could be like, oh, that was kind of funny, or like, oh, what a douche. Like there's, you have to think about it from the perspective of the person you're trying to have that negative argument be towards, rather than like, I need the reader to hate him right now. Like, it's that writing style is so like focused towards a reader's perspective, when it should be like towards a character's perspective, because it's not up to the reader if they should like them or not. It's like, what feelings does my character already have towards that person?
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of any way else to make it a little bit more detailed than that.
I have nothing to add, but I do need to change my earbuds, so give me one more.
Writing yourself into characters. I used to do this a lot. I used to do this a lot.
For 2 years. I think I'm the expert around here. I feel like I can't really say. Well, that was a very interesting situation because I didn't necessarily write just myself into that, like into Sam Strings. I wrote everybody into him. So I took a little bit of everybody's like personality and how their writing would be like, because everything was text based. So like, when we text each other, Sam Strings would pop in and he'd suddenly be talking like Danny. He'd use certain words that Danny would use, or he switched one day to how I would talk. And it would just constantly be switching back and forth, and sometimes he'd just do different things.
Yeah.
And then for that, I think it can be kind of good and be kind of not good. It depends on how you're doing it. If it's like a self-insert and it's like maybe a cameo, I think that's totally fine. But if it's like, I am Goku, I am writing Goku into the story, but I am Goku, and now he wins everything.
I think that's where that problem like arises, when you can't
like a Mary
differentiate. Sue. Yeah, exactly. Is that what it's called? Like when a character can't?
I think like when
that's what Ray is. Frick. Okay, hold on. Tangent time. That's what Ray is, because nothing ever bad happened to her. Like, that character was so unnecessarily written into the Star Wars sequel. Force Awakens was fine. Force Awakens was cool. We were given scenes. We were given posters of Finn with the lightsaber, a stormtrooper to Jedi. That's such a cool idea. It's like, it was so unnecessary. You did not need a Mary Sue in a tragic story, especially if it was a continuation of the Skywalker saga. Like, that was unnecessary. The story of the Skywalker has always been tragic leading up to Luke, because Luke is the one who broke the cycle of tragedy. The cycle of tragedy, because he was able to actually get things to go his way. Like, the tragedy doesn't need to continue. If you read Legends, it got a little bit worse because he went to the dark side, then went back to the light. But like, he continued to break that cycle. We didn't need a continuous good of unstopped, like, anyways, writing yourself into characters.
I'm gonna get the 5-hour dissection of all the Legends canon from you.
We're not doing. You know what? If we get a brand deal, okay, hold on.
There goes one weekend. There goes one of my weekends, bruh.
If we get a brand deal from Spotify, I will do a full episode of breaking down every single Legends book out there right now, which I feel like might be a little unnecessary, but I'll do it. Spotify, hope you're listening.
You would do it. This guy likes money.
Yeah. No, when it comes to sorry, let's go back to
Back to it. Back to it.
Back to writing yourself into characters. I think it's dangerous when you do it in a like not a great headspace, because I did that a lot. Like writing was my release for a lot of negativity, especially, and it just kind of made my writing really dark, like unnecessarily dark, like not like in the like traditional like make fun of emo, like it just made it sad. Like it was unnecessary because I was writing myself into these characters, and every single character had a tragedy. And yes, tragedy is great for story writing. It's great. Whoa, it's great for like creative thinking, because you got to have some sort of connection as to why your story is important. Because yeah, like there should be some sort of plot, some sort of theme for every one of your stories. But if you're making everything a tragedy because of how you are, and like you're writing yourself into that story and to those characters, you gotta reflect a little.
You might never get over.
You might never. It'll get worse. Yeah, it literally will get worse. You can't. It's harder to move on from a actual negative thing happening in your real life when you continue to fuel it in a way that you're making these characters go through all these tragedy again and again and again. Like I've had very detailed like versions of betrayal that were like they showed that I wasn't in a great headspace when I was writing them. And
this might be not as fictional story, but an autobiography, bro.
It doesn't help in like your personal, in your betterment, because the story should come from a place of creativity, not a place of negativity.
Okay.
I like that. I like that. I think I think we can skip over the last point, because I feel like that's good to kind of start next episode in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put a note on that to remind us about that then.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the doc. Is there anything you'd like to close off with today, Seb?
Nope.
Dang. I didn't even ponder about it.
I didn't think about it.
Nope.
I thought about it at least.
If you're new to this podcast, thank you for listening all the way through. This was Underwritten. We are on every freaking audio streaming service that you can think of. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. And we're even, I think that's the last one. I think I listed them all. We're on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if I already said that.
Ooh.
If you haven't listened to Underwritten before, and this was genuinely your first time, we have one more episode out. If you're listening to this at a point where we have more than that, then go listen to them. What the heck are you doing here? Like and subscribe, comment. I think it'd be really cool. If not, we're gonna force a bunch of our friends to give us questions, and then by bunch I mean like 4. We're gonna get some Q&As done, but it'd be really cool if we have some audience interaction. So if you have any questions for us, leave them in the comments of Apple Podcasts. I don't know if Spotify has them. I know Apple Podcasts does. If you're on YouTube, leave them there. We are gonna have a set change soon, so that's gonna be cool. We're gonna have some more we're gonna have some more in-depth stuff. It's gonna let us do a few more cool things. Yeah. Seb?
That's that. I think that's that, bro.
Alrighty. Podcast out. Okay.